Hi everyone, welcome back to Sherlock Holmes vs Jack the Ripper. Here we are in 221B Baker Street with Sherlock Holmes, and we are currently Dr. Watson. We investigated another murder last time, two murders in fact. The first one which was an interrupted killing, shall we say, so he didn't manage to do his usual grand performance when he does his killings, but the second one he was able to do his usual repertoire, shall we say. We're now back in 221B Baker Street, as I said, and we are looking to identify the guy, if I remember correctly. Let's have a look. An accurate account can regain its value if we can discover why and to what extent the truth must be rewritten. We've learnt a great many things tonight, and I'm able to tell you what our man looks like. Really, says Dr. Watson. Yes, says Sherlock. We are going to need a few things, Watson. Find me 3 mannequins, my worker's costume, my 3 full wigs, one of your worn garments. Yes, that can be used as the workman's outfit. It's a bit of a put down there. And one of your old suits. And my deerstalker. Right, so let's get some fuse. So we've got the deerstalker. We need 3 mannequins. Well, they're probably going to be in Sherlock's room then, aren't they? Well, that is a mannequin? No, okay. There's a wig.
A wig? This will come in handy.
Also a revolver. A mannequin. We need that. Another wig there. I wonder what these wigs are. There's the deerstalker hat. We need another. What have we got in here? Nothing, it would seem. Right, let's put that away. Open the trunk. It'll have to be on the other side. We'll take the jacket there, his worker's clothes. Oh no, it does hinge that way. And another wig. Are they handcuffed? I suppose we shouldn't pry too much. Right. I guess the rest is in.
We shall place our mannequins here, Watson.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, fine. I thought we were going to move into more of a cutscene. We need 2 more mannequins, it would seem. We've got one here. Good. And we get his old suit. That's that sorted. Anything else we can pinch, borrow, beg, steal? No, it doesn't look like it. Right. Another mannequin there. One more mannequin. Where the heck is that going to be? Is it in this room? Is it in a clever disguise? Is it in this cupboard? Yes. That's the only other logical place it could have been. Another hat. Get that closed. Can we close that? No, okay. Let's get the mannequins together. Do we have everything we need? Let's have a look. We've got a costume, worker's disguise, worker's clothes. 3 wigs, 3 hats. I think we've got everything we need. So,
as for one of the murders, we have no witnesses whatsoever. As for the 3 other, we have at least one person who claims to have seen the victims talking to a man a few minutes before their death. Do you remember whom these would be, Watson?
no. But we can no doubt find some information. Should we have a look at the notes? What about the testimonies that we had? Do we still got the testimonies? Preliminary report. Here you go. Testimony of E. Long. Saw a man and a woman talking. They noted that the witness identified that blah 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 blah. This identification was at least 40 years old, height a little taller than the woman, with whom he was discussing, approximately 5 foot 3 inches. Brown deerstalker hat, dark coat. So this is going to be used as document and evidence. That's good. The next testimony. Did this have a witness in there? No. Okay. What about What was the note from the... Oh, no, that was that. Okay. Journal of Spring Heel Jack? No. Decoded message? No. Leaflet? No. Photography? Oh, this was the charlatan. Crumpled letter. No. Blotting paper, that's the Dear Boss letter, wasn't it? Notes on Spring Heel Jack. List in pencil. Telegram for Aveline. Letter to Tom Bulling. Nothing there. Letter to Mr. Moore. Letter signed Jack the Ripper. Letter found at Tumbletees. Maybe they're in dialogues. We had a word with... what was his name? Was it Abraham? Abraham's statement. They saw some gentlemen, didn't they? A demon lives in this city. Yes, Mr. Holmes, that night 3 members of our club saw a woman talking to a man at the very spot where they were standing a few minutes before, found in the passage. Won't be possible to speak to them. Let's discuss the spot we are. Here we go. Joseph the butcher said the other two were pointing at the couple. Look, I don't like going home alone when there's kind of people around. Joseph looked, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Come on, I must have a description here. Here's a description. Joseph the butcher, even though he was one who commented on them and pointed them out, said that he couldn't remember anything except that the man was about 3 inches taller than the woman, who was 5 feet tall or more. So we know our killer's about 5'3". Joseph did his best to cooperate with the police. He must have been 30 years old. There we go. That's the other evidence we need. So who else did we get a statement from? So hang on, what have we got? Let's have a look. So we've got testimony of Elong, the night of that murderer there. So this is going to have to be Eddowes, isn't it? That's probably Eddowes' murder. What do we know about Eddowes' murder? Do we have any conversations about... What about the chap we spoke to in the interrogation in the police station? Richardson's testimony. Here we go. Go blimey, governor. That one. Remember him? Okay. Wait. The woman saw them going in to that house, didn't they? So he hasn't got that. The testimony. Annie Chapman's murder. Blah, 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 blah. Mr. Humphreys. What did the woman say? Do we have her statement anywhere? Got Tumbletees, but we've ruled out Tumbletee, haven't we? We no longer think he is the... Let's just go back to... Annie Chapman was killed at in the back room, in the back garden, wasn't she? So do we have Polly Nichols? London Star, High Street. So this is what was found. Kadosh. Witness heard voices, understood that he went to the building again, never returned to the yard. Whereupon the noise, he was then departed from work to Spitalfields. The morning when witness domicile at 32 Church Street as approximately 5 a.m. getting to Spitalfields Market, she was passing down Hanbury Street at 5 a.m. when she witnessed a certain time that she declares that she heard the clock for Black Evil Brewery. Blah, 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 blah. She saw a man and a woman talking. At least thought that's... Oh, we've already got that as evidence. So it's not that one. So it's not that one. Is there anything in the Polly Nichols? Been going through the conversations, and I found this conversation we had with Constable Smith. He talks about, I saw her not far from here. She was talking to a man. So that's it, isn't it? Saw him from behind. He was wearing short black outfit. This is the one. Oh, found it. Finally.
Bravo, Watson. There are our 3 witnesses.
God, it took a lot. So the testimony of E. Long. Let's go through this one. Ooh, blimey, that was hard work. So at least 40 years old, little taller than the woman, 5 foot 3 inches. So 5 foot 3 inches. And it said 40 years old, didn't it? 40 years old, okay. The clothing, brown deerstalker hat, dark coat, general appearance of working class, dark hair and moustache. So dark hair and moustache. Let's get that down to 40. Working men's clothes. And a deerstalker.
Perfect, Watson.
Good. Right. Abraham's... is it Abraham? It was Abraham's statement. So... it would be nice if it went to it. Blah, 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 blah. 2 pointing. Don't understand. So, the man was about 3 inches tall. Hang on. But then... the man must have been 30 years old, 5'7". 5'7".
There is an error, Watson. Let's reread Abraham's testimony.
Alright. Oh, it goes right to the top again. That's annoying. So, the 2 stones throw, taken to the man where the spot was a few minutes after the body was found. One of 3 men, Joseph, that night, 2 others joined the Imperial Club, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, Harry stated that he hadn't seen the couple. As for Joseph, the butcher, even though he was one who commented on them by pointing them out, he said he couldn't remember anything except that the man was about 3 inches taller than the woman, who was 5 feet tall. Okay. Joseph says, though, is about 5'7", light complexion, fair moustache, wore loose dark jacket, grey cap, red scarf around his neck. So, blonde wigs, ginger wigs. Let's go fair haired, light grey cap. There we go. Loose dark jacket. Could be either of those, couldn't it?
Excellent. Now, on to the next step.
So,
Indeed, Watson, that's the right size for Abraham's mannequin. The account given by Mr. Solomonovich's friend is incorrect in at least 1 point. The first Joseph said that the man was at least 5 foot 7 inches tall. The second Joseph said he was 3 inches taller than the victim, whom we know was 5 feet tall, which would suggest a height of 5 foot 3 inches. Don't forget that it was this second Joseph who attracted his friend's attention towards the couple on the other side of the road. We can assume he got a very good look at them.
very
As
good
for
point.
young P.C. Smith's account, he must have been mistaken about this person's real height. It is only an inch or 2 after all, and we can attribute the same height as the other 2.
We haven't done this one yet. He's given us green. Okay, so we know he's 5'3". So barely 30 years old, 5'8". He had dark brown moustache, olive complexion, I would say, but caught a glimpse in the face quarter. What was he wearing? He was wearing a short black outfit, small felt hat like a cap, dark colour. That one, I suppose. We'll put him down to 5'3". What colour hair? My short-term memory is appalling. Had a dark brown. And age about 30. $28. Evenness 26, 5'8".
Bravo, Watson. Our mannequins have been recreated based on the correct accounts. Now, Watson, let's see in what ways these statements differ and how the witnesses could have been mistaken. Let's look at these wigs and moustaches. Let's start by taking the first Joseph's testimony, who saw the man head-on in a well-lit spot and in which he noted fair hair. Now, let's consider the same person, but in the lighting and angle of the other two witnesses, in the darkness of night with poor artificial lighting from above. Put out the light, Watson. Thus, poor lighting and a backlit subject can affect our perception of shades and colours. The wigs from Abraham's mannequin took on the same colour as the other two. The three testimonies, therefore, don't contradict one another, and we can apply the same facial hair to all three mannequins. Turn on the light, Watson.
Good. So we can change that on that one, and that one on that one then.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Well done, Watson. With regards to the murderer's hair, the three witnesses should agree on Abraham's testimony. As Joseph is the only one who saw our man in full light, his hair must therefore be fair. You see, Watson, it is hard to draw objective conclusions when one is an eyewitness to an event. This leads us to reconsider the various statements regarding the supposed age of the man. Even if you are face to face with someone in full light and for a period of several hours, to what extent can you determine their exact age? And even more so if you observe them for only a few seconds and or from behind. We must allow some flexibility when considering our witnesses' statements, but always scientific flexibility.
Okay. Determine the age range thanks to the tolerance of years by Sherlock. Tolerance of years, 7 to 10. Okay, so that could be down to 30 then. Oh, okay, so it could be 33 to 43? I'm not quite sure. 3 to 5 years, so that could be 27 to 35. Oh, hang on, that's the tolerance. No, that's 20-year gap, and that's in green, so. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. Oh, or do we add the 7 to that? So it could be 37 to 50 to 60? No, it doesn't go up to 60. To 50 then. I'm not quite sure.
Don't forget that, according to Abraham, the man was seen face on from a few feet away by the first Joseph, who shouldn't be out by more than a few years. For Abraham's mannequin, we should allow a margin of 3 to 5 years.
Okay. So 5 years will be 25. 3 years will be 23. 27. Okay, so that should be... Oh, I see. 26 and 27? Is that what we're saying? So that'll be 34 and 33.
There we are. Magnificent.
Oh, I see.
We would be wise to treat this witness account with a degree of skepticism. For Long's mannequin, the margin of error is from 7 to 10 years.
Okay. So, Oh, wrong way. 31. 48. 32. 33 to 47.
Excellent. Now, on to the next step. For Smith's mannequin, let's allow a margin of 7 to 10 years. He only saw the man from afar in the obscurity. Smith's mannequin, a margin of 7 to 10 years.
Okay, so 17, 18, and 19 to 35, 34, and 33.
Perfect, Watson.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Now that we have fully considered the witness accounts, let's see to what extent they agree. If we apply the range of error for each of our dummies, we can deduce the age of our murderer as precisely as possible.
Right, okay, so 30 to 47. So we'll put that in at, what we reckon? Oh, 30 to 50. Honestly, but we're looking at 37. I reckon you're probably looking at 37. 33 to... Oh, it's got to be 33, isn't it? It's the one that they can all get to.
Perfect, Watson. Within a margin of 1 year, Watson, the age of our murderer is 33 years.
But the man described by Smith was dressed respectably, whereas the other two were poorly dressed.
Indeed, but Whitechapel's respectively could quite easily describe the Sunday bests that all lower-class men own.
True.
Now, let's place ourselves in the shoes of Liz Stride's killer. He has just slain his victim and sees Louis Diemschutz discover her body. Our killer is at great risk if he stays in the area. He therefore gets away from this spot. But he wants to kill again. However, he might have been spotted in the area before having committed the murder by a constable on his round, perhaps, who managed to get his description. What do you think the killer will do?
He will buy another disguise, wait a while on the premises, and probably that. So throw his clothes into a sewer or a trash bin, and change and go look for another victim.
No, that's not it.
Okay, so buy a disguise.
Watson.
Buy a disguise. Wait a moment.
No, Watson.
No, okay. Buy a disguise, escape without being recognised.
No, that's not it.
Okay. Flee?
No, that's not it.
Hang on, Sherlock, give me a moment here.
No, Watson.
Stop it! Right, flee and change and look for another victim.
No, that's not it.
Return home or to a safe
Go
location.
back home or to a safe location, change his clothes and leave again in search of another victim.
There we go.
It's
We
the
know
only
he's
possible
close.
explanation, Watson. The man returned to the safety of his lodgings and then decided to go out again with new clothes and repeat his sinister nocturnal work. That's how the discrepancies between the witnesses with regards to clothing can be explained.
What a cold-blooded animal.
And what determination! Powerful motives are pushing this man. Thus, we can conclude that the respectable man with the package may very well have been seen by the two Josephs.
And we
Even
know
if
he
it is just
lives
a
local.
mannequin, it's giving me goosebumps. But have we really made any progress, Holmes? I mean, there must be thousands of men in Whitechapel who match this description, wouldn't you say?
You're right, Watson. We have worked on who, now let's work on where. We need a map of Whitechapel, and please also find me a pencil, 2 compasses, one of which can draw ellipses.
Right, I can see them right on the top here. Is that all we need? I believe so. Let's go around this way.
We'll need a map, Watson.
I've got a map, have I not? Do I need to get another map? Oh, do I need to grab that map there? No?
I am in need of something.
A map!
I am in need of something.
First of all,
There we go.
let's place our 4 murders on this map, as well as the spot where the graffito appeared, and the piece of apron was dropped.
Right, so we've got Mitre Square. I'm just going to have to double check who died where. So, hang on. So we had Polly Nichols. She died at... That's Bucks Row, wasn't it? I think. She was Bucks Row. Annie Chapman was at Hanbury Street. Annie Chapman was Hanbury Street. So Annie Chapman, Hanbury Street. Polly Nichols was Bucks Row. Oh no. Polly Nichols, Bucks Row. She was 48 years old. In Mitre Square, and Liz Stride was Duffield's Yard. Stride was Duffield's Yard. So then Catherine was at Mitre Square, and the graffito was at the Galston Street.
Perfect, Watson. Let's connect each crime scene to the one out of the others that is the furthest.
Say again? So the furthest is this one. How do I... No? Repeat what you just said, Sherlock. Oh. Right, okay. We don't have that conversation. So, we want to do the murders rather than the graffito.
You see, Watson, the murders aren't grouped together, but seem to be spread out like cardinal points around a central zone. The killer obviously wanted to avoid returning to the previous scenes of his crimes, assuming that they would be more closely watched, or that he could be recognized.
So the killer lives at the centre of this cross.
In the vicinity, most certainly, but how near? Let's focus on the night of the double murder. Remember, Watson, it took us 20 minutes to get from Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square. Let's draw a line from one to the other. Perfect. We didn't make the trip as the crow flies, but that would not harm our estimate. Let's suppose the killer left Dutfield's Yard at 1 a.m. and arrived in Mitre Square at 1:35 a.m. when he was seen by the two Josephs. If he took 5 minutes to change his clothes, that leaves a range of 10 minutes to determine where this man's lodgings are. We must determine the area in which one can go from Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square in less than half an hour. To do this, let's draw an ellipsis. The length between Dutfield's Yard and Mitre Square corresponds to 20 minutes. By adding half, we get a distance of 30 minutes. By taking the two right segments, each starting from the two murder scenes, and which the sum of the lengths makes 30 minutes, we get our ellipses.
What? Oh, I'm having absolutely no luck with this at all. It makes... Are my green lines wrong? Is that what... No, I can't delete my green lines. The green lines are going to be right. There's only this compass I can use. So if we want to look to see where we can go in half an hour, then we know this is Well, we said this was going to be 35 minutes, but 5 minutes with a stop off to get changed. So if we stick that in roughly the middle, and then get those two like that. But nothing. That's wrong. What are we doing wrong? I don't understand. Am I out like by like a pixel or something? Is that what the problem is? I suppose if we get the exact centre would be from the middle there. Which is about halfway, I guess, there. Problem is we've got no real way of telling what's halfway. So you'd think you'd put the thing there, wouldn't you? Smack bang on the green line, in the middle of that. That's not quite right. Must be more over this way. Over this way then, maybe it's back to front, is it? No. No idea. It doesn't make sense. Should we go from the corner of hers to there? I'll go from you to there. So it gives us this area, doesn't it? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Is it wider?
There we are, Watson.
Oh.
Our killer lives in this area.
It's still rather a vast area, Holmes.
Yes,
Bloody
indeed.
hell.
And our goal is to reduce this area as much as we can. We must consider the fact that the murder at Mitre Square was committed under a certain amount of pressure, given that the killer knew he was wanted for the acts he committed not long before. We can assume that he had to do it in a safe zone, that is, an area not far from where he lives. This is especially true of an act such as the graffiti he carried out after 2 murders. Let's trace a circle around this point, with the distance separating it from Mitre Square as the radius. This will enable us to determine our killer's safe zone.
Right. So from here, the radius is going to be to there. Yeah?
Our killer must surely live inside this circle. Now, let's intersect it with the ellipsis that we previously determined.
What? So it's going to be this sector here. Just need to click on it. There we go.
There we are, Watson, the Aldgate district.
Shouldn't we inform the police so that they can concentrate their efforts on this area of Whitechapel?
It is probably already crawling with inspectors, Watson, and I doubt that they would take us seriously, even if they were willing to listen to what we had to say. Let's focus instead on understanding the killer's modus operandi. We know our murderer preys on prostitutes who are penniless, weak, sick, or alcoholic, that he distracts them the moment before killing them, and that he left an anonymous message inciting anti-Semitic hatred at the entrance of a building occupied by Jews. How would you describe this man?
What a coward!
Indeed, he is a person of great cowardice. Let's look at his murders, and in particular, the depredations on the corpses, putting aside that of Liz Stride, because on that occasion his work was left unfinished. If we recall the observations made on the victims and the parts that were mutilated or damaged on each of the bodies, without forgetting the fact that he also removed 1 or more organs, we can ascertain that our killer evolves during the course of the murders, cowardly and still evolving. And yet, look at the location of our first murder, that of Polly Nichols in Bucks Row. It is the most distant from the area our killer would appear to live. Perhaps this murder was preceded by another within the killer's area. I believe a cowardly killer would commit his first murder in an area close to his home in order to find refuge as quickly as possible on carrying out the act.
That makes sense.
Holmes, an idea just occurred to me that fills me with dread. This evolution of which you speak.
He will pursue his next victim as long as the conditions permit him to continue killing Watson.
But how could one go even further in this horror? Look at what he did to that woman, Catherine Eddowes.
In order to avoid having to answer that question, we must act with haste and planning. Watson, I suggest you inform yourself on the mutilations sustained by the victims. We played with the idea that this could be an act of vengeance against prostitutes. If the mutilations correspond to areas affected by a specific pathology, perhaps the killer wanted to give an eye for an affliction he felt the prostitutes he knew were responsible for.
And this trail leading to Dr. Tumblety, Holmes?
I also have a few things to look into in the meantime. I still have a primary witness to track down, not to mention old trails I've yet to pursue. See you soon, Watson. When we first spoke about the Bucks Row murder with Watson, he was reading a newspaper, The Star, dated September 1st, 1888, I believe, which mentioned similar murders in the preceding months. I have no chance of finding the police reports, but perhaps I could find some information at the Central News Agency. I must go there at once. Afterwards, I'll go back to see Abraham, the owner of the pet shop in Whitechapel. The second Joseph's statement would lead me to believe that he may know the man spotted on the corner of Church Passage that night. If that's the case, I must find this witness so I can question him.
Right. Now, if we have a quick remember of those mutilations, the last one was removing the nose and the eyelids and the womb and the uterus and all that. So if it is a revenge thing, you know, what have they been mentioning a lot in this game? Syphilis, which will eat away the tissues around the nose and the eyes and the face, because he also cut the cheeks, didn't he? So it could be somebody, he's suggesting it's somebody who's been struck down with syphilis. I say struck down, has caught syphilis from his nocturnal activities with these horrible young ladies, or maybe not necessarily young, but these ladies of the night, and that is what his motivation is, to seek revenge for his the issues that he's suffering, which may make it easier for us to spot him. He may also be getting treatment from the clinic with mercury and whatever else, leeches or whatever they were using back then. All sorts of early medical practices. But so we need to go to the news agency to see if we can find any preceding cases and progress next time. Thanks ever so much for watching. That elliptical thing didn't make much sense, but we got there in the end. More trial than error, to be honest. But we got there, and we're progressing with this investigation. So we'll continue this next time. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.